Well, good afternoon to you. Sunday, does that make it the 10th of September 2023? And we're looking at one of those moments that could be thought of as a catastrophe. Une catastrophe. Could be. Or it could be seen as an excuse to do something sensible. And I don't mean set fire to this. That I know some of you might think that's the sensible thing to do. But what we have achieved here is I've removed the remains of the broken part of the shaft. And what we find is this timber has just disintegrated. Now, I was contemplating why it had gone there. Well, what was there was an oak shaft, the shaft that one of the two shafts that the horse fits between, over the top, with this piece of timber mortised into this piece of timber. And I'm not really sure what this timber was. One might say, well, it was rotten. It's a softwood of some sort. And it's exactly where any muck and nasty will gather. So it's simply rotted out. Now at the moment it's still got this stretcher underneath it. But I've got a strong feeling that when I remove that stretcher, this is, well, it's had it, hasn't it? Which sort of changes the plan a little bit, but probably makes more sense. The plan now will be to remove this side piece gently, softly and tenderly. It's only nailed on here. The sort of fixing that gave it all its strength was the iron strap that went there, and there's another iron bracket there. That's what gives it its sort of box strength. So it is only nailed onto this. And looking at this, I don't think pulling nails out of it is going to be difficult. But it does give us a chance to see how this was all strapped together and made. It's a very, very simple mortise and tenon. We might even say a half tenon, because it's not this piece, the tenon is only half a tenon. And when it was assembled, a hole was put through it, and now I've heard these called different things by different people. We might call it a pin, we might call it a trennel, we might call it a tree nail. My father always called them tree nails, but I've got a feeling that's because, as far as he was concerned, it was a bit of wood, a tree. But yeah, that sort of pinned it together. So what the plan becomes is we'll remove this side, which will allow me to properly repair inside there, and we will replace this piece of timber using this as the pattern so we can measure it all up. You can see there's another peg, pin, call it what you will there. So we'll remove this piece, and this piece will become firewood after it's given all of the vital measurements for all of the holes. Now, I think while we're at it, I might even replace these bits, because over time they've actually bent and they're dry and horrible, and they were never a good quality timber in the first place. So I think this is going to end up effectively with a new frame. Now, it's not as if I've got to drive all over Washington State looking for another square body to take the frame out of and end up with a pile of engine and seats and stuff to get rid of. You know, this frame this frame is just a timber frame, and when the floor's gone back in and the seat's gone back in and the sides have gone back on it, no one is going to know whether this is original or a replacement. Well, apart from you lot who've watched this video, and you're not going to tell, are you? Well, just look at that. How many of you have watched every one of my videos? Sad if you have. But a couple of weeks ago, that piece of timber came my way as a freebie, as an old piece of packing crate. And look at that. It's the right size. And yeah, I think we've got a fighting chance with this. That's good. It's very good.